The sun burned hot above the busy street, and Chinedu clutched his tray of granite like it was his lifeline. Sweat rolled down his forehead, and he called out in his tiny voice, "Granuts! Fresh granuts!" He was only 11 years old, but life had taught him to hustle like a grown man. His father had died 2 years ago, leaving his mother with nothing but debt and three hungry children. Chinedu was the eldest. Every day, he left their one-room home with hope that the few naira he earned could buy garri for the night. He walked past big houses and cars that gleamed like mirrors, and sometimes he wished just for a moment that he belonged to the kind of life, but wishes didn't fill empty stomachs. Today seemed like any other day until a black gate cracked open as he passed. A man stood there, tall and dark-skinned, wearing a white kaftan, so clean it almost blinded Chinedu's eyes. The man smiled. His teeth shone like polished shoes. "Small boy," the man called, his voice deep, smooth like honey. "Come here." Chinedu hesitated. His mother always warned him, "Don't talk to strangers." But the man's smile looked warm, and his voice didn't sound dangerous. "Yes, sir," Chinedu said softly, walking closer. "You dey sell groundnuts?" The man asked. "Yes, sir." The man nodded and opened the gate wider. "Come inside." Shade dey inside. "This sun go kill you, eh?" Chinedu glanced at the empty street. His legs ached from walking since morning. The thought of shade and maybe even cold water was tempting. He stepped inside. The compound smelled of flowers and something else he couldn't name. Something sharp like blood and had dried long ago. The man locked the gate behind him, and the sound made Chinedu's stomach tighten. "Sit down," the man said, pointing to a wooden chair. Chinedu sighed quietly, his small hands gripping the groundnut tray. "You like better life?" the man asked, sitting opposite him. "Yes, sir," Chinedu whispered. "You wan help your family, make your mama no suffer again?" Chinedu's eyes lit up. "Yes, sir, very much." The man smiled wider, too wide. His eyes didn't match the smile. "Good boy." He clapped his hands once. A door at the back opened, and two men came out. Both of them were huge, their faces blank like carved masks. Chinedu's heart began to race. "Drop the tray," the man said softly. "I, Chinedu's voice trembled. "Drop it!" The shout shook the walls. Chinedu dropped the tray. The granite scattered across the shiny tiles like tiny beads. The tall man stood and walked behind Chinedu. He placed his big hand on the boy's head and whispered in his ear, "The gods will like you. You are pure, innocent." Chinedu froze. "Sir, I want to go home," he said in a shaky voice. The man chuckled. "Home? No, small boy. You go make your family rich tonight." Before Chinedu could scream, a rough hand covered his mouth. The other man tied his hands and legs with thick rope. Tears streamed down his face. He tried to kick, to fight, to defend himself. But strength was nothing compared to theirs. They dragged him into a dark room that smelled like rotten flesh. The floor was cold and sticky. In the corner, a clay pot bubbled with something red. Candles burned all around, their flames dancing like wicked spirits. Chinedu's heart pounded so loud he could hear it in his ears. He wanted to shout for his mother, for anyone, but the cloth in his mouth silenced him. The man in white picked up a sharp knife. Its blade glowed in the candlelight. "Don't be afraid," he said softly, almost kindly. "You go bring blessings. I don't see am." Chinedu shook his head violently, tears falling like rain. The man smiled again, and then the chanting began. Outside, the street was quiet. People passed by the big black gate. never knowing that behind it, a small boy's life was ending. Hours later, the compound went silent. The only sound was soft drip of blood on the cold floor. Back in the small one-room home, Chinedu's mother paced, clutching her wrapper. "Where is my son?" she whispered over and over, her voice breaking like dry sticks. Night came. Chinedu never returned, and in the shadows of that mansion, the gods feasted.